Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Lowe's knows July 4th savings are worth celebrating. Right now, get up to 40% off select major appliances and get an additional 10% off 2 or more select major appliances. Plus, get 3 Scott's Naturescapes 1.5 cubic foot mulch bags for just $10. These deals are coming in hot. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 7/9. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Let's go, baby, let's go!
From a championship backfield to your morning drive.
Hands to Hester, and Hester, yep, got it, 5 out of 5!
You're locked in to Off the Bench.
Flynn is back to throw from the end zone, boom!
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, here's Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Welcome in, OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge here on this Thursday morning. Jake, Flynn, Alondra, Tay all here with you, and Taylor just laid out the show. Very excited for it. One final little recap on baseball season. Nobody better to do it than Mr. Ben McDonald. Flynn, how we doing? How was the parade last night? Championship celebration, whatever you want to call it.
Man, we had a great time. I got to be honest with you. I'm sitting here, and I'm looking, and I think Taylor's in the same boat, looking for a little energy right now. We celebrated hard last night. Flynn family.
Yeah.
Kids, we were there. We were
There's one rule about morning radio.
yeah.
You can't say how tired you are.
I didn't. Just said I was looking for energy.
Because
Yeah, see?
as much as I want to, because you know what I made the mistake of doing last night? Watching a show.
Oh, you got locked in.
Let's play one more.
Oh, was it
11:30. Hey,
a TBS movie?
let's get to one more.
Armageddon on TBS?
I wish. 12:20. Finale. Cliffhanger.
No, 12:20.
Oh,
Let's get to one more.
I think we'll do one. We'll do one.
What
It's a
show?
finale. It's called Better Sister.
Okay.
It's on Amazon. Jessica Biel,
I love
Elizabeth
this deal.
Banks. They were in it. Don't want to give anything away.
Okay.
But let's just say at one point they were both married to the same man.
Whoa.
And they were sisters.
Yeah. No,
Thanksgiving's going to be weird.
I'm hooked.
That's kinda
yeah.
weird.
It was good. It was really good. So I fell into the one more, but you know what? We don't talk about it. It's like Fight Club.
So did you got to the finale?
Yeah, we
You got the
finished it.
answers you were looking for.
I did. We finished it.
Ooh, you found out who the better sister was.
Oh, we did.
Good.
And you had a chance to go to the
I did.
celebration.
Well, while you were watching Better Sister, I was celebrating the LSU baseball Tigers.
That's right. Because you're a Stitchhead.
I'm Stitchhead. It was great. We had a really good time. The concert was good right beforehand. I got to tell you, it was hot in there. There was not a stitch of breeze either. Good Lordy. But we had a great time. The Flynn family, we showed out. We got our, told y'all we had some new baseball jerseys. We put it on. We did all the deal. And yeah, it was a really cool experience for everybody there. I mean, it was a really good crowd, loud crowd, a lot of energy. And man, like tip of the cap to the fireworks coordinator. They crushed it. Crushed it. I think it was probably the best fireworks show I've seen in Baton Rouge for sure. But in a minute.
Did you yell at Jay, hey, check your messages? Trying to get you back on the show.
I didn't tell him.
You
I was
join,
like-
us, you
I was
join
like,
us every week during
Jay,
baseball
hey.
season.
It's me, it's Matt. I interviewed you twice.
You told me good question.
You told me good question.
Twice.
Remember me? Yeah.
You must have.
He almost called me up on stage, I think. Hey, you know what? Let Matt interview me on this one. He has good questions.
Or we got a real stitch head here in the crowd. Let's go ahead and bring him on down.
Bill Francis,
Yeah,
stand
Bill,
down.
you've seen a couple of innings of baseball, but we're bringing in the big guns, the old expert.
There was a couple of times during the ceremony where certainly they were like, we want to take a moment to, give shout out to a couple of people out there, and I didn't know if they were going to call me up or not.
I mean, I don't know, trying to get Coach back on the show. You must have sent him a well-done steak when you sent it from Fleming's.
I might have. It's tough to order.
I thought we were trying to big boy him or something.
Steaks to go are tough. It's
tough.
Like what temperature do you go? Because
it's gonna keep cooking.
Yeah, I mean, if you order medium rare, it's gonna get there medium because it'll keep cooking.
Yeah.
But the good restaurants, do they already know that and they plan for it?
Right.
You just don't know.
Right.
It's a crapshoot.
Yeah. We'll eventually get him back on.
It was a really good celebration though. We enjoyed it. We had the opportunity to kids kind of ran on the field a little bit right after.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah, they had a great time. It was awesome.
I'm still when T was here, we tried to get this done, and we just could never lock down an actual time to do it. Batting practice at the box. I had to set it up. We just could never get T there at the same time, and so.
Well, it's a good
Are
time
you
to do
willing to take?
Yeah, you want to do it today?
Not today. We got a lot of stuff after the show. I don't know if you remember. We got some meetings.
No, I don't.
We got some commercials.
Hey, I'll be here.
We got some biz to take care of.
We got some pro radio stuff to do?
We do.
Love that. Can't wait. No, I'm 100% in. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Remember, we actually we did the batting cages one time with Bain one time before the charity softball game.
We did.
Remember that?
I forgot about that. Me and Bain were on the winning team. You were not.
What? Not because of me.
We did take some BP though. That was fun. Getting inside the cages over at the box.
I think I was throwing pitches to you.
Yeah, we were.
It was ballsy of you to stand in the box.
No, I mean, they don't know about
a little high heat, little chin music.
They don't know about the intramural team FB that we had back in the day.
Oh boy, what a squad that was.
Watching Kyle Williams hit a softball, the bat looked like a toothpick in his hand.
Yeah, so that was 2004, right? Mm-hmm. 2004, we had intramural softball. So
we did it every year, but maybe not our last.
Yeah.
So 04, 05, 06.
No, okay, I'll tell you what. This was before you guys. So this was spring of 03. We had a LSU football intramural softball, just like we had when you got there. So this was spring of 03. So this is following the national championship. And Kyle Williams, Joe Lawrence, we had multiple starters and multiple guys that played high school ball. A couple of guys were like, kind of like borderline baseball draft picks, but they chose football. But they chose football, right?
Jason Spadona was a really good high school player.
All names you would recognize. But so we go to Washington, D.C. to meet the president. You know the story? Oh, yeah. We go to Washington, D.C. to meet the president of the United States of America, the leader of the free world. Because, of course, we won a national championship. Yep. That was the famous White House trip where LSU was on one staircase and USC was on the other because of the, air quote, dual national, whatever. Where President Bush at the time said, like, a lot of people are wondering, who the best team is. I got a pretty big backyard here, which was great. Anyway, so we were there, and I can't remember. We were at the White House like on Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. I can't remember. But whatever day it was game day for us. It was intramural soccer. That was like the league play. That was when we were scheduled to play like at 9 p.m.
Yep.
Okay, so we see the president, do that deal. We come back. And we land, I want to say like 30 minutes before our game's supposed to be like planned. So we're like, all right.
And real quick, we took this very serious. Like our intramural softball, not like serious like we're out there practicing but like we had so much fun doing it that we didn't miss.
We weren't there for just S&Gs. We were there.
Yeah.
We were there to play. And like we were all baseball players growing up, so it was like a little way to like flex our muscles, scratch that itch of putting a glove on, and blah blah blah. So we get there about 30 minutes. So like we get to our cars and we race to the park. And I am not kidding you when I tell you, We show up like at 9:20 for this game. And the hardos that were working intramural softball, they were like, no, y'all missed the 15-minute cutoff, late cutoff, blah, blah, blah. You can't play. And the other team's sitting there like, hey, bud, we're here. Let's just play the game. And it's the last game of the night, too.
Yeah.
Well, let's play. We're cool with it. They're 5 minutes late.
They were at the White House.
And we were like I just said, we were meeting the leader of the free world and shaking his hand because of the national championship.
Then we brought this school.
And
Mr.
we started arguing, and we lost the argument. The guys just turned the lights off to the whole field.
Yeah.
And Kyle Williams, I've never seen him like real mad.
Yeah.
But he was like, I dare you to turn the lights out right now and make it dark with me near you. Anyway, long story short,
I can hear Kyle saying like so many condescending things.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like Kyle, the nicest guy ever. Like you would like.
I know
until you get him on the field, but like we were pretty fired up.
Yeah.
So what a big L that got.
And he's very witty too.
So
I can imagine what he was saying to him.
So we, needless to say, our arguments were futile. LSU football Tigers intramural softball team 2003 took an L that day due to forfeiture for being 5 minutes late. And then we got beat in the semifinals that year. We always play
the same team.
We always ran into that damn team that I swear they were putting racquetballs in the barrels of their bat. Like I'd be sitting
3 years in a row we lost.
There was like team. I was at center field and like I would be sitting there playing the same team and I would just like hit a ball and I'd run to the fence and I would just like look up at it and it was still like 40 feet over my head and I could hear it going.
Yeah, I mean we had a Major League Baseball, someone who played in the big leagues at shortstop,
opening day starter at second base for the Toronto Blue Jays,
and he was impressed.
Yeah. Like just peppering the sorority houses with home runs. Anyway, we lost.
Yeah. All like every year that I played to the same team.
And I'm pretty sure it was the guys that worked.
It was
the intramural that worked the intramural fields. Yeah. Those hardos that made us forfeit because we were meeting the president.
Yeah. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
You're definitely listening.
Dare you to turn those lights out.
Ooh, those lights would have stayed on
all night.
We also had Peter Diakowski on the team.
Oh,
it's a big Canadian.
JV was on the team. I'm trying to think. I didn't know we were going to talk about this, so I was like trying to think of the roster.
Jason Spadoni.
Ryan Willis.
Ryan Willis was on the team.
Peter Diakowski was great.
Peter.
Anyway, we jumped from a LSU national championship celebration to celebrating the 2003 intramural semifinal runner-ups.
Survive 623 ask, you fellas have any personal Skip Bertman stories having been there while he was coaching /AD? I have one when he was the AD, and I mean they were so great. I mean the Bertmans, they sat right in front of me and Matt on the plane, right, just right there, and we would kind of talk back and forth on road trips, like because he made every road trip. Him and his wife went to every game, and so I definitely remember during 2007, whenever we found out we were going to the national championship on the plane, because like West Virginia had lost to Pitt and Missouri lost to Oklahoma, like all those things that we all know had to happen. And we find out, and the pilot, comes over the speaker and he's like giving us updates, and he gives us like the final score that we all kind of knew we were waiting for. And Flynn, I don't know if he's going to admit this, he grabs Coach Bertman and kisses him on top of the head because he was
what?
Yes,
I did.
You were so excited. We were jumping up, and you gave this man's bald head a kiss on top of it. I don't know if you remember that. I was like, okay, that's a bold move, but Skip didn't say anything.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I'm sure he never washed his head after that. Was he sitting in front of us?
He was sitting in front of us.
Oh,
he was.
Boy.
And he was excited. So he was like pumping his arms or whatever. We were all jumping up, hugging, high-fiving, and you gave a little right on top of the man's head.
A little smooch.
You did.
A little head smooch.
Yep.
I think that, Alondra, a couple weeks ago you sent that picture of me and Jake in an airplane. I think that might have been.
I didn't send it, but I think
Oh, it
you
was
had
me.
it.
No,
Yeah.
somebody sent it to me
You
after
said
they
it.
found out we were doing the show together.
I think that might have been that.
that was the
That
White
same
House
time.
trip.
That was the White House trip.
Yeah, that was the White House trip.
Yeah. So that, I mean, do you?
That'd
so,
be kind of weird if I just had like a random picture of y'all on a plane.
Well, like
Somebody,
obviously
like,
it was a
sent it to you.
screenshot.
I mean,
that somebody
I
sent to
certainly
you.
don't. It'd be weird.
So weird. But that was when they came on because like back in the day, you certainly weren't like connected to any on-air Wi-Fi or anything
that wasn't a thing.
overpriced, terrible Wi-Fi.
You still had like the phone in the back of the seats.
Yeah. So the pilot was getting the updates from, I guess ground control or whatever. And he would give it to us.
What if ground control's like, hey, my guy, you should probably just fly this plane?
Yeah, just focus on just
because
getting
the
them.
turbulence was real bad.
So he announced that we won. Everyone's celebrating. I guess I kissed Skip on the head.
No, there's no guessing.
And then
There's no guessing.
all of a
You
sudden, we hit this probably the most giant piece of turbulence ever in the history, and the plane just dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, what felt like 10,000 feet.
Yeah.
Probably 10 feet. I don't know.
No. Whatever it was a pucker moment. I tell you that. For everybody on that plane.
It went from a euphoric celebration to, God, we're about to die.
Saying Hail Marys.
Saying Hail Marys. I'll never see my family again, I guess. That's it. It's been a good ride.
Been real.
Going out on top.
I guess
think.
West Virginia is going to play in the game.
What would have happened? No, let's not even go that route.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more
Dark.
Dark.
Don't go there.
So we'll save
okay.
it one.
All right. We'll take a break. And that was our intramural softball story.
That was segment
Although,
one,
like,
baby.
if you can't get an excuse from George W. Bush because you were at his house.
I know. We should have, that's what we were talking about too. We were like, we should have just gotten a letter, like a doctor's note.
Yeah, I'm
Hey.
serious. He would have done it.
For sure.
He was awesome. Like, when we went in 07, like, he was sitting there chatting it up. And I told this story on air before. Like, I was nervous because I was presenting the football.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, oh my gosh, I'm president. Like, do I get too close? He's like,
Right.
like,
tackle
man, get on
there.
over here.
Get on over here.
Get on over here, bro. Get in here. All
You've
right.
been through that metal detector. Let's go.
All right, we got Ben McDonald joining us in about 13 minutes from now. We'll get everything started when we come back here. It is OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, as you know, we are big fans of Rouse's here on the show. I mean, Team My High's in the Rouse's, so of course we are always going to be on the squad. Go to rouses.com today, and you can check out the weekly ads right there on the homepage, top right corner. Click on that. It's going to pull up everything that they have. You can pull up your store and what your store is offering as well. All you got to do, right there, tab on the front of the homepage. Click on that. It's going to pull up everything they can offer you. Always major specials going on over at your local Rouse's. It is truly local. Rouses.com.
Yeah, if you're going to be shopping, choose a store, choose a market that is local. Headquartered down in Thibodaux. They have, it seems like stores popping up everywhere. Man, they're doing such a great job. Go to their website, see what deals you can do. Stock up for the weekend. Whatever your plans are, make sure you go to Rouse's Markets.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Freeze in full effect.
You ready, Ron?
I'm ready.
You ready, Div?
I'm ready, Slick. Are you?
Oh yeah, take it down.
Girl, I must warn you.
From players to legends, Hester and Flynn break down LSU football like only champions can.
Situation is serious. Let's cure it cause we're running out of time. It's all so beautiful.
All right, welcome back in 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Let's go ahead and get this thing started.
It's time to get glowing, courtesy of GoFlow IV Spa, where hydration, vitamins, and a summer-ready glow are always on tap. Now, for starters.
All right, we are getting this thing started. Thanks to our friends over at GoFlow IV Spa. GoFlowIV.com is the website. You can check them out on their Facebook page. You can book your appointment today by going to the website. Call them at 225-953-8150. It is right on Jefferson near Bocage. Book your appointment today.
Vitamin infused as well. You can get all the stuff. Hydration, vitamins. Got a sick stomach and go in there. They can help it. Nothing helps faster
There you go.
than intravenous. Go, Flavi.
All right. We had an NBA draft last night.
We did?
Did Flynn know this?
I actually did. We were talking about it before.
Okay.
Because this is not a opinion that I made up myself. I was listening to the show on the way in here, and they said that the Pelicans did something dumb. I don't know if that's true or not.
All right, so they draft Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma with their original 7th pick that they had. And a lot of people were hoping that they get, better than 7 because of how their record was, but that's sometimes the draft lottery. But then you package the pick that you had later on in this draft with next year's first-round pick, and you move up to select Derek Queen out of Maryland. Now, Derek Queen's a very athletic big. Derek Queen is a really good basketball player. Derek Queen was one that got really hot at the end of the year last year, made a run with Maryland, was one of the better players in the country by the end of last year. But now you don't have any first-round picks in 2026. You got to be good this year, because if you end up making the playoffs and that's not a lottery pick, okay, whatever. It's the NBA. Once you get past the lottery, who the hell knows? That's just the way the NBA draft is. But you had to love Queen a lot to get rid of your picks for next year.
It just reeks of this guy. We have him graded as a top 5 guy or a top 8 guy.
Yep.
And nobody else is seeing it but us. So you make that move to move up 10 places to give up your chance for a high lottery next year, which is what I'm hearing is a much better class next year.
It is.
Than this class.
This class was very top heavy. But I will say this. Queen's a really good basketball player. He's still a little bit raw, but he is a very athletic big. I think for me, like the one thing that I've got to question is, do you think you're going to be good next year?
Well, I
Like,
think
to do
after,
this-
I think after this move, you better make the playoffs.
To do this and it's unprotected, that's the thing that's a little bit surprising. So you move up to 13. ESPN.com had Queen as the 14th ranked player in this draft. So like where he was drafted, it makes sense. And if it was your only pick in the draft, I don't think anybody would say anything. But it's because you moved up 10 spots. You give up next year to select somebody who he's listed as a center. He's 6'9". Now, he's 248 pounds, and he's every bit of it. But like I said, he is a little bit raw. This is a potential play more than anything.
You see it in every
Not a great defender either. Like, he could score. He's
Well, he
athletic as hell.
doesn't have a length.
Yeah. Not
to play, the position that he's going to try to play. Now, he's got the athletic ability, but I don't know that he has the length.
He's more of the wing, the 4, which is fine. Like, Yves Missi actually wanted to be a pretty good pick a year ago at 21. Like,
for sure.
He'll probably be your center. You can get a 6'9", 6'10" guy on the wing. Like, he can shoot it. I just worry about his defense. It's like you don't really have a defender out there. Like, with Murray hurt for the foreseeable future, like, you don't really have a guy out there that can play a lot of defense.
The one thing that makes me a little bit nervous whenever I'm breaking down the pick and kind of going to seeing, what the bio kind of look like according to some of the different experts, because I did watch him play, and he's a very good player. As I said, like, I can see the skill set. He is a little bit of a tweener between a 4 and a 5, but every draft profile that I looked at, it said, like, improving his conditioning will help him on the defensive end.
So he's lazy.
And as someone who breaks down the Pelicans, watches the Pelicans, right? You've got a situation we always talk about with Zion and staying healthy and keeping his weight down and being in shape. Like, oh no. That's the one thing like you really didn't want to see on a draft profile was like, if he can improve his conditioning, his defense will go up.
Yeah, that is, it doesn't matter what sport it is. If that's part of your profile, the way people view you, that's usually is going to mean that he's been a little immature and lazy to this point. Now, that can always flip. That can change. But yeah, it was always, you don't want to have that stigma on it. If he can get in shape, if he can be in better shape, if he can, drop some body fit, whatever it is, it's and that's usually a pretty big red flag. But like to move up and take him, like you said, ESPN had him ranked as a 14th. We took him as a 13th.
Yeah.
Hey, you see it in all drafts. It doesn't matter what sport it is general managers, scouts, they don't really look at ESPN, whatever side. They don't look at that. I think they probably compare it. I'm sure they're especially nowadays, they're way more aware of it than they were.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I don't know. There's that clip back in the day. Who the hell is Mel Kiper? From the Colts GM.
That's right.
Yeah.
But like they're going to put their grades on every single individual person, from the first round to the last round, whatever it is. I remember after the NFL draft our year, it was afterwards your agent would start telling you, all right, the Panthers had you at a 4th round grade.
Yeah.
Patriots had you at a 6th or 7th. These guys had you as a undrafted guy. Like everybody has their grades. And in the
everybody
first round,
has different 40 times on you. Because at the combine, they trusted their guy at the finish line.
Which is the stupidest thing in the world. I'm going to trust my guy that's like 45 rows up.
They do, though.
They do. Everybody has their little stopwatch. It's like, hey, there's actual laser beams that are timing these things. But anyway, this just says that the Pelicans scouts, they put a grade. And I'm sure in the first round, it's way more detailed. They probably had a grade that was like, hey, this guy's, a 5 to 8 guy for us.
Yeah.
And if we can get him at 13, we make the move. And that's really the only reasoning that I would see behind it is like he just at that spot for them, based on their pre-draft grades, he was getting picked way too late.
Yeah. They had him much higher than 14. We'll break down Jeremiah Fears you get from Oklahoma. He is probably going to start out the season as your starting point guard because Murray, that's an injury that's going to take some time. He will not be there for the start of the season. Of course, you have Jose Alvarado there as your backup point guard, but Fears is going to be your starting point guard, I would assume, to start the season. Best ball handler probably in this draft. We'll break his pick down a little bit later on in the show. But when we come back, it is time to catch up with LSU legend, ESPN, one of our favorite guys, Ben McDonald, to kind of put a little bit of a cap here on this championship college baseball season for LSU.
Off the bench.
All right, go for dose. Duh. If you were tailgating there in Omaha, perfect beer to enjoy during a tailgate. If you were enjoying the game in the stadium, same situation, right? Always go for dose. And this time of year, like talking about going to the beach all the time, right? Toes in the sand, Dos Equis in hand. You're going to, that rhymed.
I like that.
You go into the lake, like whatever the situation is. If you just want to hang out at the house, you're in the backyard, always go for dose.
I tell you, I keep a Frosty mug in my freezer just for those Friday, Saturday, Sunday, summer evenings, cooking out, grilling some dogs, grilling some burgers, crack open Dos Equis, that Mexican lager, amber-colored deliciousness, cut some limes. Go for dose, drink responsibly, go for dose.
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
Riding in the drop top with the top down, so you're switching lanes, girl.
All right, welcome back in. It is OTB 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Always a pleasure to catch up with our next guest. It is our guy, Ben McDonald, who joins us now. Ben, we always appreciate the time, sir. Hope you're doing well.
Everything's good. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing fantastic. Love seeing you there in Omaha, being able to hang out with some Tiger fans, watch the game, enjoy the game, take in another Tiger championship. How was the Omaha experience this time around?
Well, the city of Omaha always puts on a great show, and the people look forward to this, obviously, like we do once a year. And so they go all out in Omaha. And so it was a great experience. And, of course, the fans showed up again, and we had some tremendous ball games. We had a no-hitter, first no-hitter thrown in I don't know how many years out there, only the third College World Series no-hitter there in Omaha, and of course LSU won the national championship to kind of cap everything off. So I don't know if it could have been a whole lot better than what it was.
There's no doubt about that. And Ben, I was watching the post game, and I forget who asked Todd Walker this question, but they're like, "Hey, as a former alum, somebody that's worn the uniform, what's it like to see them out there?" And he kind of stopped me. He's like, "Well, it didn't start with me. It started with Ben McDonald and his group. They really started the foundation of LSU baseball." So for you, knowing what y'all did there in the late 80s, to be able to really start the program in a different direction, to see where the program is now, to see them win 8 national championships, what does that mean to you?
Man, I never saw it coming, honestly. At the time I came out of high school, and I'm dating myself now, but when I came out of high school in '86 as a senior, Mississippi State had the program, and they had Rafael Palomero, Will Clark, and Jeff Brantley, and Bobby Thigpen, and all-stars, and they were the class of the SEC, and some guy by the name of Berkman took over LSU in 1986 or 85, I should say, and I was like, man, I don't know, because I was considering LSU and Ole Miss or Mississippi State, and then all of a sudden I said, you know what, I'm going to give this guy Berkman a chance, and he went to the College World Series in my senior year. I went, okay, this guy might end up being okay. I'm going to go. But to answer your question, I don't know if I saw this coming. I take you back to when LSU won its first national title and the belief of Skip Berkman and what he instilled in all of us and the guys that would come even after me was we're supposed to. And Luis Garcia on the dog pile when LSU won his first national title in '91 looked at Coach Berkman and said, "Coach, we've won. We finally won." And Coach Berkman simply looked at Luis Garcia and said, "Louis, we're supposed to win."
Yeah.
And that was the mindset that began back then. And Skip Berkman calls our years the building block years. It was the building block years to what would eventually come down the road, man. But look, it's so hard, as you guys know, man. And, there's been this debate, and I brought this up, and people looked at me sideways back in Omaha. I said, if LSU wins their 8th national title, are we going to start talking about LSU? Not the greatest program in the last 40 years, because that's easy. That's a done deal. But maybe the greatest program in the history of college baseball. And that's a mouthful because USC has 12 of them. But USC won 11 of their 12 titles, back 60 or 70 years ago is when the majority of them came. They've only won 1 national title in the last 40 years. LSU has 8 in the last 40 years. But when you consider the big picture of putting fannies in the seats and the stadiums that have been built because of Skip Berkman, and I don't think he gets enough credit. People around here know who he is, but Skip Berkman is college baseball. He's the one that began all this that you see now in these great cathedrals in college baseball around the country and people coming to ballparks. It was because Skip had a vision on what college baseball could be if you go ahead and you build it, you could put a good product on the field. This is kind of what it would be, and I'm so happy for Jay Johnson and what he's been able to accomplish in a time that's so difficult to win right now. And you win 2 national titles in 3 years, man, 2 since he's been there at LSU in 4 years. It's a yeoman's job, and Bill Franke has reminded me of this the other day. He said, Ben, he came to me, he said, you told me when we hired Jay Johnson that LSU would win 2 national titles in the next 5 years. And I had actually forgotten I told him that, but I knew Jay way back when he was with Arizona, man. And it's y'all know Nick Saban, obviously, really well. And that's who this is. It's Nick Saban is what it is. I never played for Nick, but I heard the stories and talked to you guys about it. But this is Jay Johnson, man. This is what he does.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. I've said the same thing. I said, playing for Coach Saban, I told Jay this not 2 weeks ago. I was like, Coach, you're the closest thing to Nick Saban I've ever seen in any sport, and you're exactly right there. And Jay Johnson, somebody I've known all the way back when he was a assistant at University of San Diego, and just continues to impress me. But what you said about LSU being the best baseball program of all time, I completely agree with you, not because we're biased, but because when you look at what they've done and when they've done it, because there's so many teams and so many schools now that are heavily invested in baseball. There was a time where it was regional. It was in the Southeast. It was in Southern California. That's who really cared about it. Now, Ben, there's a lot of people that care about it. I mean, it's across the country. There is programs. The Big Ten has programs that care about it. We never thought that we'd really see that. The Big 12, the SEC and ACC, of course, but, it's no longer just the Big West out west. I mean, there's teams in Oregon and Oregon State that really care about college baseball. So for me, that's what makes LSU's run over the last 35 years, 40 years so impressive, is because the buy-in from everybody else, and they still continue to thrive.
No, that's 100% correct. I mean, and I'm not taking anything away from Rod Dato, who won those championships at USC. But there was a time back in those days where if you were any good as a ball player, that's kind of where you went. You went out West Coast, you played West Coast baseball. That's where all the studs came from back in those days. But the parity of the game now, like you said, and people investing in these awesome stadiums, and you got the NIL stuff going on, and you got a lot of stuff going on, man. Nobody can make the argument to me that it's not twice as hard to win one the last 40 years as what it was the previous 40 years. It was a lot harder to win. And so to see LSU doing what they're doing, man, and we don't say this, like you said, because we played at LSU and we love LSU. You say it because what you see. I mean, you see it. You see 8 national titles, and you go, wow, man, it's hard to believe it's happened like this. Look, man, I'm so happy that Coach Bergman was there. He flew in to see it. You guys probably saw him on TV, and I was so glad that he flew in to see that, And so it's a hell of a run, man, and expectations are always what they are at LSU. And to go out and get to Omaha, that's always the goal, and to win. And I think LSU now, guys, has been in the finals or played the championship game 9 times out in Omaha in the history of the program. They've won it 8 times. So I think that speaks volumes to, if you get there, we're going to win, and we know how to win. And the ones that came before us won before, so there's no reason why. Because somebody asked me that on another show the other day. What is it about LSU? What is it about them going to Omaha and winning? I said it's a belief that's been instilled in these kids that they're supposed to, and you're supposed to win when you get to LSU. And there's a belief that you can, And I hated to see the meltdown from Arkansas, because I felt like Arkansas had honestly, as good or better team than what LSU did. But the best team don't always win, man. It's a team that plays the best. And, boy, Arkansas just unfortunately melted down in that one inning. But give LSU credit for putting pressure on them and forcing those unforced errors on Arkansas to win a national championship and get there against Coastal, who had a hell of a team, man. I mean, Coastal could really pitch, but LSU was just better, dude. They were just better than what Coastal was.
Yeah, Ben, hearing you talk about Skip, it made me start thinking about the way Jay Johnson's handled success here, the recent success. Every time I hear him talk about it, every time a big moment, I was at the celebration yesterday, and he always talks about Skip and what Skip has meant to this program, what he means to Jay himself. And in a day where a lot of head coaches are a little bit me, kind of arrogant, they want to celebrate, the things that they've built and done, he always takes time to make sure that he honors the past, honors what Skip has done and what he's meant to LSU baseball and just college baseball in general. And I don't want to skip ahead too much, because I know we want to celebrate LSU and talk about that. But Jay Johnson's job going forward, what's the expectation for this LSU program? 2 championships in 4 years, an unprecedented feat here. So how does he continue to handle it? He's the right guy to do this with the right mentality, but with recruiting, with handling the draft and everything going forward, how does he continue to handle this and build success?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, and I think it's more the same, And to your point about Skip, and this is one of the many things I love about Jay, is he's embraced Skip Bertman. He's embraced the history, and again, this is what I love. Jay understands the history, and more important than that, he wants his players to know the history of this program and the blood, the sweat, and the tears that went into all this to get to that point. That's the difference between Jay Johnson. And I'm not going to mention any other coaches that coached at LSU, but others didn't embrace the history of LSU like Jay Johnson did. He didn't try to run and be his own man. He embraced Skip Bertman and what Skip Bertman built, and the best potential of me is always we. And I love the fact that Jay talked to Skip after every weekend series. They would get together for lunch every week on a Tuesday, and they would talk about what happened that weekend, what was going to happen the next weekend. He would bump things off with Skip. He'd gather information, anything he could. And so Jay has embraced the legacy of Skip Bertman and not tried to be his own guy in a lot of ways. Although he's done it a little bit different way, and he's getting his due now. But to answer your question about what does Jay need to keep doing, I think it's more the same. Stay hungry. Like, he is the hungriest coach that I've ever seen. And honestly, when he won the first one, I said, okay, man, all right, now I'm going to find out who this dude is. Because a lot of guys, win that first one, they go, okay, I'm here now. I've won one. I can take a little bit of time off. Jay grabbed another gear, guys. I'm telling you, he went to a different place, and he wanted number 2 in a bad way. And talking to him the other day after he won number 2, it's like he's already hungry for number 3. And it reminded me of Nick Saban being on the phone when they won the national championship game. He's on the phone that night calling recruits. Well, I was lucky enough to ride back on the plane with LSU from Omaha the other day, and I sat there and watched Jay, and I sat there and watched Nate Yeske and Josh Jordan, the coaches. All they did was text and talk on the phone to recruits and portal kids on the way back. They couldn't even enjoy the day. And look, I love that about Jay and his staff. They're so hungry. Look, I think Nate Yeske is the best pitching coach in the country. What he did this year is the best team ERA since 15. I mean, look at the growth of Kate Anderson and others. Josh Jordan, I think, is the best recruiting coordinator out there. What they do, this is a hell of a team, guys. Not just players, but the coaching staff. And Scott Woodward hiring. And I remember asking Scott 4 years ago, I said, what was it about Jay Johnson? I knew him, but tell me what blew your doors off. He said, Ben, I've sat in with Nick Saban. I've sat in with a lot of other coaches on interviews. It was the best coaches interview I had ever been a part of. He said he had a game plan, Jay Johnson did. He walked into my office and told me exactly how he was going to do it, and he was going to bring LSU back to the top of the mountain. He said that's exactly what he did. He said he just blew my doors off. And so I think it speaks volume of Jay. Jay's hungry to win. As you guys know, he has no kids. Those boys on the field in that purple and gold, those are his kids. He's invested in them every day, and he loves them both on and off the field. He's grown them into young men and hell of a ball players, too. And that's, as a parent, that's all you can ask for. So I think others will continue to come, and obviously the more success LSU has, I think they'll have a leg up on recruiting, although the NIL is going to be a different world now, as you guys know. Yeah. But I think it's going to be about getting players there, continue to develop guys when you do get them on campus, and so it's going to be interesting to see what next year brings, because typically when you win a national championship in baseball, the last 5 or 6 years, it's been a down year, a big downturn. Tennessee had a good year. They made it to a super regional this year, but we know about Ole Miss and Mississippi State when they won their first. They kind of went off the grid for a couple of years. LSU, after they won in 23, lost in a regional, the following year, last year in 24. So we'll see how strong LSU comes back next year and what they can put together. But we know this, the expectation will always be the same.
No doubt about it. He is our guy, Ben McDonald. You see him over on ESPN, SEC Network, always doing big things. Ben, we appreciate the time as always, sir.
Anytime, guys. Take care.
You as well, man. Love catching up with our guy, Ben. Great insight from him there, being able to see them on the team playing, recruiting in the portal, high school guys. What a great time to recruit because, well, you got something that you probably need to tell them about. And 2 of the last 3 years, LSU has that in a national championship. All right, we will step away for the final time here in hour number 1. We've got EJ Manuel set to join us in about 12 minutes from now. Stay locked in here at ODB.
Off the bench.
Said OTB. It's not like I said ODB.
You said ODB.
I mean, ODB's legend. Just like Pelican Roof. Pelican Roofing is the place to go to. PelicanRoof.com is the website. Check out the 5-star reviews right there on their homepage. If you need a roof quote today, well, the instant roof quote tool is right there, top right corner of the website. It is an incredible tool. Think about it. You put in your address at your home or business. It gives you an outline of your roof, and you get a quote right there. Incredible tool right there on the homepage. Always big things advancing over at Pelican Roof in Lafayette, in Baton Rouge. PelicanRoof.com is the website. And Matthew, you can also finance with Pelican Roof.
Yeah, check out their financing options. Qualified buyers, 0%. And 0% interest means, I think, $0. 500 plus 5-star reviews. Go check them out on their website. That is PelicanRoof.com.
I want to sell where you got it. I'm the hottest around there. Know it when they see you.
2007 champs, purple and gold to the core. This is Off the Bench with Hester and Flynn. Baton Rouge's go-to for all things Louisiana sports.
Welcome back in OTB here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I will say this, talking with Ben and other people and Todd Walker earlier in the week, the standard is always been there for LSU baseball, but Jay Johnson's standard just feels like it's even up another level. And what he expects from himself first, and then the team and the coaches and just the program. He doesn't know how to turn it off. And I mean that in a very good way. He is always thinking about what's next for LSU baseball.
I loved hearing that comment from Ben saying all right, you won your first one. Now I'm going to see who you really are.
Yeah.
And he said he turned it up a level, which is wild. And you see that, man. This dude is all in. We are
that's what the greats have, right?
Oh, they do.
Nick Saban has that.
Yep.
Kirby Smart has that.
Like a relentless.
Not everybody has that.
A relentless desire to be great. And like what we just said, the great ones have that. Whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, whatever it is. But to win a championship and then take your effort up a level.
Yeah.
It was like in when we won in 2003, I remember Saban saying, this I didn't hear this till like years and years afterwards, but Moffitt would told us that Saban was like, yep, we got to kill him, pretty much.
Yeah.
We have to crush these dudes in off-season,
And they tried.
in spring, in training camp, because we can't let them. This team didn't win it.
Yeah.
This is the new team.
Right.
So, like, you got to step it up.
Yeah, Coach Saban was so good about like finding ways to motivate himself and also us as well. Do you remember when we played Florida in 2004 and they beat y'all in 2003? And he got mad all over again telling the story on a Monday morning about how Coach Spurrier had called him and kind of gloated that, yeah, y'all won the national championship, but y'all still couldn't beat my Gators. And he got so mad, like retelling that story, and because he just doesn't forget stuff like that. And so like that week, he coached us pissed off because Spurrier had called him the year before and said, "Congrats on the Natty, you still couldn't beat the Gators." And he's like, "We gonna beat the Gators this year, I promise you that."
That would always happen in meetings with Saban. He would start talking and everything was cool.
He gets so mad.
But then, like, he'd get so worked up because he, like, would go on a tangent about something that pissed him off.
Yeah.
Then by the end of it, we were, like, running or something. We're like, what did we do?
It's like we're running
just sitting here.
We're running because Spurrier called you 6 months ago. All right, let's go beat Florida. And we did. And when I say we, Joe and I did.
Yeah. Not me
Joe
at
and
all.
I went to Gainesville, and he did that. All right, EJ Manuel to kick off hour number 2 of OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to K to Z Blinds, KTOZBlinds.com. We're very excited. Brandon Barton and the team coming over, hanging out with us today. Got a couple things going on, and you're going to know Brandon Barton and the team because when they come to your home, they're going to, know your home better than you do in like 5 to 10 minutes. They're going to know exactly what you need. Like for us, can't tell you how happy we are with our motorized outdoor screen. Just changes the space. Like our backyard space is different because, it's kind of a hybrid. It's whatever we want to make it. Also, like if we want to cool off the living room, if we want to take the glare off the TV in the living room, which is inside, just push that little button. That's thanks to Brandon Barton and the team over at K2Z Blinds.
Yeah, go to their brand new website. It's beautiful. It shows you everything they do. They have a gallery. You can go through all their services, whether it's blinds, whether it's drapery, exterior screens, whatever it is. It's hot. Cool off your house. Lower those energy bills every single month. K2ZBlinds.com, K2ZBlinds.com.